The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network.
High school football is on the air. The Oneida Indians, the Scott Highlanders, with Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, and their entire broadcast teams. This is Tennessee's most complete high school football coverage.
Sponsored by Twin K, South Fork Physical Therapy, First National Bank, El Rey, Lumber King, Ray's Axe, Danny's Drugs, T&T Car Wash, Tommy's Motorsports, and Mountain People's Health Councils.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, Friday Night Football begins now.
Welcome to tonight's edition of the Roundtable here from the Michael A. Tech Center here in beautiful downtown Helenwood, Tennessee. Kevin Akers sitting in for Ben Garrett tonight along with Rick Keaton and Tim Smith. And this first session is going to be sponsored by Little Drugs and Fountains. So we appreciate them sponsoring this section. Little Drugs and Fountains located down at the intersection of 63 and 27. Be sure and stop by. And got a great soda fountain, great grill in there as well. Make a lot of good stuff. If you want to get something to eat while you're waiting on your drugs or just want to stop by and get something for lunch, be sure and do that. It's Little Drugs and Fountain. All right, gentlemen, last week the Highlanders and the Indians both suffered a little setback in their season. Rick, I'll go ahead and start with you. Went down to what would be a rivalry game against the Kingston Yellow Jackets.
Let me say this first. We talk about rivalries all the time. I don't think Kingston considers us a rival, considering in the head-to-head matchups, if we've played 54 times, they've won 48 of them over the years. We consider a rival because that's the team we've played by far the most over the course of our history. Kingston hadn't scored a lot of points. We thought, well, that bodes well for us. Defense had been playing well. Coaches knew that it was going to be a little bit of a challenge to go down there because they have two dynamic running backs that big, strong guys. They break tackles and just pull out of them. So if we could have gotten a defensive effort and figure out a way to score, the possibility of winning at Kingston. Of course, it's very hard to win down there for us anyway. So the defense had a very tough time tackling and bringing down those two big running backs. And the quarterback, who we didn't expect to throw much, that's what good teams do. Occasionally along every 10 running plays, they throw the pass and caught us looking a couple of different times to score touchdowns on. And the other side of the coin, our offense finally showed some life there. Our running game didn't because we had too many losses behind the line of scrimmage. Our passing game finished with 165, 170 yards passing. Dawson Spradlin, I think, caught 10 of the 12 targeted passes that he had. Got us down close for a touchdown, so we pick up the 21 points and got down real close before a drive stall out. I want to say maybe the 1 or 2 yard line when a drive stall out. So that could have got us 4 touchdowns on the night. But the 21 points is our highest offensive output of the season so far. So that was good to see that. But the challenge was to tackle Kingston. We did a very bad job of that. I got to give some credit to their line for blocking, but they had several runs where they would run left or right, and then their backs would get 2, 3, 4 yards and then zigzag back across the field. And once they made the cut, our defenders, they'd already committed, and so they were able to outdistance our defenders on those type runs. So it wasn't our best effort, but it's been 3 straight games with Knox Central Kentucky, with Clinton, and now with Kingston that they're strong teams, they're physical teams, and we're not to the point that we can go in to a lot of places and play a physical football, try to run the ball at them. We didn't have success at that, and then trying to stop the run at the same time. Also, I really hate to mention, we had a couple players go out with injuries, but we were also penalized like 11 times for a little more than 100 yards of penalties.
Wow.
Now, Kingston, they were also penalized, but as you guys know, it's what point in time that penalty occurs. If you've started a drive and something happens, that just short-circuits that. And several of those penalties hurt us in terms of maybe continuing to drive, maybe getting better field position, Who knows what happened, but I think they were probably penalized 10 times themselves. Not hardly as much yardage, but it was one of those nights where officials called a lot of things and right or wrong or whatever. And there was one of those deals like we saw last Thursday night in the middle school game. We couldn't figure out where the spot went, this side of the hash or that side of the hash. We had one or two of those in the game. So it's very difficult. This week with the open date, could not come at a better time for the Scott High football program to get some people healthy. Also to try to instill just a little bit more of the the offensive playbook that Coach Hall wants to put in, and get ready for another physical game, which will be up at Whitley County, Kentucky. That's North Williamsburg next week. So, like I say, I'm glad that the first 5 games are over with, and now we need to regroup for the final 5 games, but get a little rest this week.
All right. Thank you, Rick. That brings us to Tim and the Oneida Indians last week taking on a regional foe in Polk County. Great game last year. Was a great game this year, but tale of two halves.
That's right. And you were there, so you correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, okay? So, but the Indians, just from the outset, it was a bad snap, a loss of about 18 yards on the first play from scrimmage for Oneida. Kind of set the tone for a couple of quarters that looked like the first half down in Wartburg, which is not where the coaches want it to be, I don't think. Production offensively was not there in either one of those games, and really it continued to not be there through the rest of the Wartburg game. At least for Oneida, you can look at a bright side of the second half. So in the second half against Polk County, it seemed like the Indians started to maybe wake up a little bit. They had built too deep of a hole to dig out of with a very good team from Polk County. And so, a team that's built to get a lead and to grind out and possess the football and just get first downs. Their cheerleaders were holding up a sign that basically declared that they were going to just run the football and try to get first downs and then get touchdowns, and you got to try to stop it. So, a lot of times a team like that, if they commit turnovers, penalties, or get down in the ball game, you can get them out of what they want to do. But Polk County was able to stay on schedule and just live life like they wanted to throughout that first half. The third quarter, Oneida did offensively start to move the football pretty well. It was just a little too late. I think the probably brightest thing that happened out of that, the brightest outcome that we had was that there was no quit. It was a frustrating night for coaches, for players, but they found themselves, given an onside kick that gave them a chance. It came loose. Oneida was in the area. If they could have recovered that, they didn't have a lot of time or timeouts, but they gave themselves a chance. And they only got there because they drove down and got a touchdown in the last few moments. So, the offensive production picked up, got 2 touchdowns, but lose 21-14. It's a very good Polk County team that was able to kind of impose their will on the game and do things like they wanted to do them. So the Indians now this week will go to Greenback, and Greenback is a team that has had the turmoil this year. So they lose a coach, but they got their first win last week. So what's that going to look like when you go down to Greenback and you've got a team that's excited about that first win and going to try to build on it? It looked like they were moving the ball down the field pretty well. So the Indians fall to 3-2, but more importantly, that was a loss in the region, and that gives you very little margin for error. It kind of makes the Telco Plains game, the York game, Bledsoe games. These are all very very important games, and our preseason rankings would have probably listed that as Bledsoe the toughest, York second, and Tellico Plains third. I think maybe now York beating Bledsoe has flipped that to the same old thing as last year, but that Tellico game is going to be very important for the Indians when that comes up. The York game comes before that, so obviously it increases in importance, and they've got this week with Greenback to try to build some momentum from that fourth quarter continue the successes they saw in that fourth quarter through the passing game. I think Riley Gibson was out last week, but William Hill was able to step in and make some big catches. It looked like Gabe had picked up some confidence in him, so it's nice to have another target so that they don't think you're throwing to Levi all the time, 13. And so we'll see how this works. It's a good opportunity to go down to Greenback and try to build on what happened well in that fourth quarter for the Indians in that loss. And
I think Coach May said something about it earlier. Don't hang your head just because you got one loss, you think you're completely out of it. Just a few years ago, we had one loss and was playing for the region championship in the last game of the season. So still got a shot at that, especially with the parity that is in this region in the top half.
Yeah, I don't think there's a team that the Indians aren't capable of beating remaining on the schedule, but there's probably also not a team out there that if we don't play well that isn't capable of beating us.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's exactly right.
It should make for some interesting second half of the year for Oneida.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. That concludes this first part, sponsored by Little's Drugs and Fountain here on the Round Table. When we return, we'll have Jason Terry, Oneida Middle School football coach, join us and talk about how his middle school Indians are doing when we return here on the IH Sports Network. Welcome back to the Round Table. It's now time to talk to Oneida Middle School coach, Jason Terry. Jason, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Jump right in there, Tim.
Is that the segue?
Yeah, that's it. That's all you get.
First question I'm going to ask you, you had a good view of it. Did Huntsville get that first down on that first drive of the game last week, or was the spot bad?
The spot was correct.
The spot was correct?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm just making sure. But did you notice what Rick was talking about, though, in the game? So they had it on one side of the yard line, and they measured it, and then when you all got the possession of it, it's on the other side
When I
of the
went
yard
back and watched it that night, I did notice that.
It's very obvious.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
But it was a good performance from the Indians. I mean, you all started off strong. You got that defensive stop, and you built on that, and then you just had good things happening. It seemed like, and Mr. Gazay is quite an athlete. That's the first time I'd gotten to watch him.
He can play. We've got a lot of players on our team, and we did come out. We performed better this week than we did last week. Cleaned up a few things execution-wise and on the penalty side. Still had way too many penalties. Still had way too many mistakes. But I think as a coach, you're probably going to say that every week. So I was proud of the effort. I was proud of the physicality. I thought we got after it. So overall, we'll take it.
So who are the teams in the district?
This year our district totally changed. Wartburg swapped over to the other side. So it's us, Soldiers Memorial, Cumberland Gap, and Lake City.
And you played
Lake City and Cumberland Gap.
And
We're
you got them.
2-0.
So this Thursday night would give you the top of the division if you can win it, right?
I think the way that things have played out so far that we're already going to be the one seed regardless of the outcome. But yeah.
Okay. So you're playing up there. And we talked about this. Where do they play?
Talked to their coach today. They play at Claiborne County High School. I wanted to say Cumberland Gap.
Makes a little longer trip, for you. What do you expect from Soldiers Memorial? What do they do well?
Honestly, I don't know a ton. I've talked to a few people. Don't have any film on them. I know they're well coached. I know they'll get after us. As in the past, they've ran a 5-3 cover 3. That's kind of what I'm banking on, what I'm hearing. And offensively, they'll be in a spread type pro I, mixing it up.
What about that other division you said that Wartburg went to? Who stands out over there?
As we speak right now, Wartburg, I think, may be the one seed also. You got Wartburg, Dayton City, Harriman defeated Rockwood last week, eliminating them. So those will be the 1, 2, 3, and see how that plays out.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question real quick. You talked about film. In middle school, can you usually get film on the other team, or is it kind of difficult?
It's difficult. Our philosophy is we film everything. We want to be able to go in. I come from practice right here after we come off the field, which was cut short by a downpour. We stood in the film room for over an hour. So you can learn a lot if you pay attention. You're willing to look at it and make the corrections on the field. So it is difficult at times, but a lot of teams we play will film.
Okay.
As you're talking about film and what you do in preparation like that, do most middle school coaches especially that you play and coach against, it's basically the same thing from year to year with those guys. So not a lot of change. Somebody's going to completely rework their offense or defense from year to year.
Not a whole lot, no. Most of the teams as we play are pretty much straightforward what they were the year before. So
who's been the strongest team that you played so far?
Honestly, all 5 of them have been tough opponents. Of course, we've helped that along the way some with our mistakes and our lack of effort or execution at times, but we've not had a game where I felt that we were just the clear-cut favorite and going to win. So they've all been tough opponents.
Middle school plays an 8-game schedule?
Correct.
I mean, so once you get to that, then do your playoffs start the following week?
Correct.
How many players do you have on your roster? I mean, I looked across the field. Of course, I had the roster last week that you sent me and everything, and I looked across the field and I thought, holy cow, must be 100 kids over there.
There's 60.
60 on a middle school program. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you get a chance to play anybody like we call in high school, we call it JV? Do you get a chance to play like 6th or 7th graders?
We do. We actually have one tomorrow night at home against Huntsville again. So we played a couple, got 2 or 3 more lined up for the rest of the way. So those kids need valuable reps too. Mm-hmm. And with the running clock in junior high and 8 men in corners, it flies by. Those reps don't always come on Thursday night. So you got to take advantage of the JV schedule to try to get those kids ready for the next year.
What's the breakdown grade-wise? How many 8th, 7th, 6th graders?
I wish you hadn't asked me that.
Well,
I know there's
there's
either 25 or 6 graders.
Okay.
Around 18 or so 7th and about 16 or 17 8th. So.
Okay. And what do you think? Most of those will continue next year out of the 16, 17? Do you think about how many you think will go on?
My hope is all of them.
Yeah.
That's what we try to train them and prep them for. So I'm hoping they'll all go on to the next level and try to perform there.
So what's it like when you, and you're there on Friday nights, you were doing the clock a couple of weeks ago, and watching these guys that just came off your team, and a lot of them are contributing almost immediately. I mean, a lot of sophomores from that team a couple of years ago playing right now, the Hill twins and Drayton Wade and some of those others. What does that feel like to know that they're out there and they're big contributors to what's going on in the high school program?
It's rewarding. I mean, our job as the middle school coaches, or in my opinion, is to get these kids ready for the next level. So we take it serious. Like I said, we study the films. We game prep. We do everything technique-wise that we know. We try to mimic as much of the high school as what we can. Now, my philosophy and Coach Mays is a little different on the offensive side. Not much, but some. But we try to mimic and get them ready to step in on day one. Now, that being said, age makes a difference.
Right.
18-year-old versus a 14 or 15-year-old, it's a big deal. It's hard to come in and do that. But you get those players that can come in and contribute.
Well, I had the question right there, and I just went, go ahead and ask something else. Maybe come back to me.
Well, and I would ask, so in this high school group right now, when you watch the high school play, and you've seen, the past couple of games, we've seen some struggles with the Indians. What do you think that boils down to? I mean, if you were gonna attack that, and let's preface this by saying something I haven't mentioned yet at all, and is the injury bug that has just hit the Indians, especially on the line this year. It's made things difficult for them.
I mean, they've had several injuries. I mean, you've named them before: Will Jeffers and Jackson Cross and Xander Lau, and I think Brady got hurt last night, and the list goes on with Riley. And I mean, that's a big part, but it can't be an excuse. I mean, it's got to be a next man up mentality. I watch those coaches each and every day. We're on the field below them. They're working their tails off. The kids are working out hard as can be. So, I mean, sometimes it's a bad break. Sometimes it's things like that. But, I mean, they're working, and they'll get it fixed.
Tim mentioned Cannon Gazay, and I think in the first half last week, I know we had 2 rushing touchdowns. We also had the defensive interception pick 6 return for you. let's use this opportunity to say, who else are some of your leaders on the offense and defensive side?
Man.
I mean, I know you got a bunch and can't cover them all, but
And you're right. I mean, you could go down the list, and it seems like every week that name or number will change. But, I mean, Tate Shepard's having a phenomenal year. Thomas Burris has stepped. My offensive line, Tanner Pike, Gage Duncan can run. Sawyer Barnes and Eli, we can throw the ball. We didn't show that a lot the other night. Very capable wide receivers, very good blocking receivers. Job Klein manages the game
yes, he does.
well. He does what I ask him. So, you could name every one of those kids out there. And we've got a lot of we're playing a lot of seventh graders also. So, it just depends on the game and the night.
Can you sit here, Jason, and say, hey, our defense is stronger, our offense stronger? Which unit, basically, do you think sets the tone in a game?
As an offensive coach, I want to say the offense, but I'd be lying. Coach Birch, he does a phenomenal job. You guys know him. He demands that his kids give him 100% effort each and every play. We get that. Sound fundamentals, techniques, he does outstanding jobs, and not to mention how smart he is as watching the game develop and calling the defense as we go. I tell the kids all the time, I don't know if they realize it sometimes, football's a game of chess. Where's the weak link and where can I exploit you at? And that not only happens on the offensive side, but it happens on the defensive side too. So we focus a ton on all three aspects, but special teams and defense would probably be the starting point.
I remember when Coach Birchfield was coaching high school football, and I mentioned it to all of our guys, I didn't think anybody anywhere made better adjustments at halftime on their defense after seeing what they was doing than Coach Birchfield did. And they was bunches of times where we would go in halftime maybe down a little bit or something other. The other team never scored again after halftime. And
I would even go as far as to say even after the first or second series. It doesn't take him long to figure out what's going on. Phenomenal job. And, I've got Coach Meredith, Phil Meredith's been with me the entire time, coaching DBs, Coach Shoemaker. They all do a fabulous job. I couldn't ask for better.
So Thursday night, you're on the road. What time? What's kick time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Yep.
All right. We got them in another couple of weeks, right? Or
I think 2 weeks out from this week. Yeah, I think so. It'd be maybe the last game of the year. The
maybe
first,
3 weeks from this, or 2 weeks from this Thursday.
Yeah, I think it's the last game of the year.
Not even thinking about that.
I understand. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you, Jason, for joining us. Coming up on our next segment here on the Roundtable, we'll be talking to Oneida High School soccer players coming up here on the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Welcome back to the Roundtable. It's now time to talk to a couple of Oneida High School soccer players. We've got Abby Crabtree and Ashlyn Cotton. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
All right. I'll start off with Abby. Okay, Abby. So tell me, this week you got games this week?
Yeah. Who's it against? I think we play Harriman and Eagleton.
Yeah. Oh, so you got 2 games this week. So one tomorrow night, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right. So are these district games that you have?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll just flip a coin and decide on this. Have you played either one of them yet? You don't repeat opponents, right? So this will be the first time you've played them.
I haven't played in 2 years, so you'd have to ask Ashlyn.
All right. Now, some people don't know that Abby. Well, they can't see that, but Abby came in on crutches, so she's playing hurt today, but she came in anyway, right?
Yeah.
So all right. So Ashlyn, you tell us what's Coach Blevins working on right now. What's something he's trying to get y'all to do better? What's number one priority?
Passing.
Okay. And has that been a problem, or is it just something he wants you to do better?
It wasn't a problem in the beginning, or it was a problem a little bit in the beginning, but once we got our positions ready and everything, we started passing better.
Okay. So you guys went up to Gatlinburg, right? Not last weekend, but the weekend before.
Yeah.
How many games did you play up there?
3.
3 games, and were they pretty tough opponents compared to what you'd been playing?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I got to see some of the one that they did on that Saturday, and I mean, even though they were tougher opponents, it was just 2-0, right? Was the final in that one?
Yeah.
2-0. So
2-0.
2-0. Okay. All right. So and you made the trip up with them.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you feel like was something that went well that weekend, or something that improved as the weekend went along for the soccer team?
I don't even know. I think just how well we work together.
Okay.
And our defense really good. Like just making sure that they can't get so many points, Like
Right.
we held against them really
Gotcha.
good.
So did y'all drive back and forth or stay up there?
We stayed up there.
Stayed up there. Okay. Was that a team bonding time? I mean,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, enjoyed time together. So who would you say, if you had to pick who the leader is on this team right now? And I'll give you two options of a leader that vocally leads, and then a leader that leads by the way they play. Who would you say that is? You can pick whichever one, and we'll make Ashlyn do the other one.
Yeah.
I say Cam for the vocally, Cameron Stiltner.
Cam Stilton for the vocal.
For the playing, I don't know, either Presley or Jillian.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that, Ashlyn?
I'd agree.
You'd agree on both of
Yeah.
those?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have anybody else that you would want to?
No, I think Abby's right.
Okay. All right. What's your position?
I'm the right defender.
Right defender. So in the course of a game, what are the things you have to make sure you remember to do on right defender? What is your role on that?
I'd say just make sure they don't get past me. If they do, Phil and Larissa will come over.
Okay. And you're educating me, because Ben's usually here, and Ben knows soccer
knows
better
soccer,
than
yeah.
the rest of us, and so I'm probably asking very basic questions, but
But you're the back line defense, right? And do you play the 3 across the back?
Yeah.
So it's your job to stop the fast, good scoring players on other teams then, right? You can't let them around. You can't let them dribble between you. Can't let them get – your job is to make sure they don't get shots on goal.
Right.
Is that the only position that you play this year or have played in your career?
My first 3 years, I played wing a lot, and then this year I moved back to defensive.
Do you have a preference?
Not really. I like both of them.
Who else plays in the back line with you?
Larissa is usually in the middle, but she's out right now, so we have Addison back there. And then on the left is either Julie or Ashley.
So does Coach Blevins, does he run the 3-4-3? That's what he does?
We do 3-2-3-2.
3-2-3-2. Okay. I learn something every day.
There you go. So, Abby, and you've cheered before, right? Are you
I
still
still do.
cheering?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you start cheering first, or did you start playing soccer first?
Soccer.
Okay. How young did you start playing soccer? Were you playing in the
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade. All right. So do you enjoy them both equally as well?
I think soccer a little bit more.
A little bit
But
more?
Yeah, I quit for 2 years, and I kind of wish I didn't. But
Okay. Yeah. So you'll be cheering this year later on. Are you cheering football
now.
as well?
yeah.
Okay. So how's that work? I mean, that seems like a pretty packed schedule.
Well, there wasn't really much that we do at cheer practices. I mean, you just go over the cheers, and I know those already. So I just go to soccer the 4 days of the week, and then on Fridays go cheer at football.
Gotcha. All right.
And we need to ask Ashlyn, do you cheer? Do you any other sports that you participate in?
I play softball during the spring.
Softball. Which one is your favorite, softball or soccer?
Soccer.
Soccer?
Yeah.
And did you start at an early age?
No.
Oh. So when did you start? About
Freshman year.
freshman year.
Yeah.
So you've had two different head coaches now with Coach Meredith and with Coach Blevins now. What have you learned from each one of those?
Phil was more like vocal, and he helped me more on the crosses pat, like through or whatever. And then they really helped me like actually gain confidence and like do it.
Because you played a different position for Phil and David's got you in this back position this year. So how long did it take you to adjust to that?
It definitely took me a few games because I was just trying to, like, send it up the field without looking at who it was going to anytime.
Tell me if I'm wrong on this. Both of you have a chance to answer. When I watch soccer, I'm mostly a novice, but I've been watching it a little bit off and on over the years. But when you're trying to get the ball and work it up the field, I think of it a lot like a 3-on-2 or a 3-on-3 fast break in basketball, where you've got to worry about centering the pass, find the open person, whether back in the middle or out on the wing. Am I wrong in that assumption?
No, I think you're right.
So I can coach basketball. I could probably coach soccer. I mean, Ben's in trouble now.
Well, you should give it a try.
I've got one question. Now, I don't know anything hardly about soccer. What I have watched is every now and then they call off sides.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
It's usually like the defense tries to hold their line, and if the person is trying to run past us before the ball is passed to them, that's offsides call.
Oh, okay.
So the other team, if they run past the defense before the ball
is actually kicked to them, right?
This is soccer for dummies. I mean, seriously, that's what this is.
As I understand it, the refs used to be pretty tight on that, but sometimes, I mean, if you're on the right side and you're kicking the ball all the way over to the left side, they may not necessarily call the offsides. Am I right, or am I totally wrong?
I mean, sometimes it depends on the refs, really.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a subjective game.
So one of the things I've been most impressed with, and I think I mentioned this last week, is when I looked at the soccer field. When I walked Scott High's field and I looked at just it's bigger than a football field, right? I mean, you're out of bounds. That threw me off when I was watching the game with Gatlinburg, and I saw it go off the sideline, and y'all were still playing. I thought, wait, what's going on there? So, and obviously you're on crutches right now, so you're not able to condition right now. But what's conditioning like for soccer? Yeah, I mean, what's a typical day of conditioning for soccer?
Well, when we were conditioning, we were on the JC field, so you'd run like at least 3 times around the whole soccer field, baseball field, and you'd come back and you'd do like push-ups or burpees or something like that.
What's a burpee? What is that? How's that work?
Up and then doing a push-up.
Hit it. We call it hit it.
Kevin, jump down.
No.
Let them guide you through a burpee. I want to see Kevin do a burpee.
Look, I know what a burpee is. I'm surprised
I don't have any idea.
If I did it, it'd be a throw up. It wouldn't be a burpee.
You know what? You've seen football coaches do what they call up downs.
Yeah.
You know,
It's up downs.
It's very similar to that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry I interrupted you. So you do the burpee, and then 3 times around the field. Is it a sprint, right?
No, it's kind of at your own pace.
Okay, so you get to go your own pace. So is there ever a time when you have to sprint, or do they time you or anything like that?
No.
Oh, well, that's there. But it seems like
something I could never do, but
yeah,
maybe you could have.
Is there a team you feel like you played that was in better condition than you guys? That seemed to be quicker to the ball, or just like.
Oliver Springs was definitely pretty quick, and Carnes, I remember them being pretty quick.
Carnes, I don't think so with Oliver Springs. They was just rough.
They were just rough?
Yeah. Like aggressive.
Aggressive, rough. Yeah.
Little pushing and takedown or two.
That's the game I got taken on, so yeah.
That's where you got put on crutches? What happened?
I was just waiting on the ball, and there was like 5 seconds left in the game, and next thing you know, a girl came up behind me, and I was down.
So what's your official injury?
It's either a torn meniscus or just sprained really bad, and I'm hoping it's sprained.
When will you find out?
This Friday I have an MRI.
So what's your choices on that? Are you going to be able to continue cheering?
Well, cheer is fine. I cheered Friday. I just can't play soccer.
Okay. Until you find out.
Yeah.
Is it possible you could come back maybe?
I'm really hoping I can.
And you don't think this was an accident?
I personally.
Did you see it happen?
That's controversial.
So did it look like an accident?
No.
No. Okay. You got anybody on your team? Okay, let me ask you this. Did they get any yellow cards?
Nope.
No yellow cards. Have you got anybody on your team that's gotten a yellow card this year?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Ashley Guzman.
Okay, I know Ashley. How many?
She's just got one so
Since
far.
I know Ashley, I'm going to say, how many has she got? Just one?
Yeah,
Is
she's
that the
only
only
got
yellow
one.
card all year?
Did Raylyn get one?
Yeah,
I think
got
Raylyn
one.
got one.
Did she deserve the yellow card?
I don't remember what happened.
That was at Sevier County, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think she deserved it, but
I want to ask each one of them, who on the team, a player on the team that has helped you along in your soccer career? Who's somebody that you say, hey, I can talk to this person about her games? Who's helped me?
When I was on the offensive end, I would always talk to Jillian. But this year, I definitely talked to Larissa a lot, and she really helped me.
And she's been a defender most of her career, right?
Yeah.
same
probably
question.
asked Jillian or Presley.
Very good.
All right.
Now, Kevin, we'll let you finish with the questions.
Yeah.
Tim and I did the hard work.
That's all right.
I asked the best question of the night, what offsides was.
Let me ask you this, and this will be my last question. Abby, you or Ashlyn? And Ashlyn, you're just going to take her answer. Who's more likely to get a yellow card?
Probably Ashley.
Do you agree?
Yeah, probably.
All right, ladies, thank you very much. It's Abby Crabtree and Ashlyn Cotton for joining us from the Oneida High School soccer team. Appreciate you all coming out and being with us this evening. We're going to take a break here on the roundtable. When we return, we will have our scholar athletes from Oneida and Scott High coming up right after this. Welcome back to the round table. Before we get into this segment, I want to thank our sponsors, Little's Drugs and Fountain, Twin K Construction, South Fork Physical Therapy, El Ray's, Rayzax, Lumber King, Danny's Drugs, TNT Car Wash, Tommy's Motorsports, Scenic Foods, Mountain People's Health Council, and First National Bank. Thank you very much for sponsoring us here on the round table. It's now our honor and privilege to talk to this week's scholar athletes. From Oneida, we have Presley Queener, and from Scott High School, Pacey Hill. And Rick, I'll let you go ahead and start with Pacey.
Hey, Pacey, first of all, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
As a scholar athlete, that's something else, and I consider a band member as an athlete because you practice very hard. I watch you guys over on the practice field over there at the baseball field practice a lot. How long have you been in the band, and when did you get started in music?
I have been in band since 5th grade, and that's really when I got started in music, was in 5th grade.
The instrument that you play, is it percussion, or do you play anything else?
Percussion.
Percussion? Do you have an interest in, trumpet or flute or anything?
No, I play guitar a little bit, but other than that, no.
Okay. Any other sports activities that you're in?
Mm-mm.
Do you know what your GPA is?
3.87, I think.
That's pretty close. Ben said 3.8 the other night, and I said, yeah, she'll come up with a bigger number than What's it like to be in the band? And I know you guys practice a lot. You start practicing in the summer, sort of like the football team. You practice, you go to camps and things like that. What's it like, and how much time do you have to spend on that a week?
I have to go to practice on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and I would say pretty much the whole week goes to band because you have practice all those days, and then you have games on Fridays, and then some Saturdays you have competition.
Friday games or competition? What do band members look forward to the most?
Me personally, I look forward to the games, but I think as everybody, we look forward to the competitions because it shows like our room of improvement and stuff like that for each competition we go to.
Is that right, Tim? The bands live for competition Saturdays, do they not?
To me, it was a bonding activity. Now, I don't know if it's the same as when I was in, but we'd take the bus down. We usually were one of the smaller bands, so we'd perform that morning, and then we were together all day till the awards that evening. So it was kind of I kind of like the competitions because we just had all that time to be together and bond as a band, and really enjoyed that. But I know your director, Mr. Hoffman, and I was his 6th grade teacher once upon a time. That's how old I am. But what's he like as a director?
I think he's a great director, actually. I love the way that he runs things, you know, like he has fun with what we do, and we still get stuff done, but we're still having fun.
What do y'all call him? Mr. Hoffman, Doc Hoffman, or just Hoff?
We just call him Hoffman.
Okay.
So when is your next competition?
I'm not for sure, but we just had a competition this weekend.
How'd you do?
We did good. There was definitely room for improvement, but I would say that we did pretty good. There was a little rough spot in the end of the show, but other than that, we did pretty good.
Where will you go to competition this year?
We go to, which the last one was Clinch River,
Okay.
and then we go to Volunteer Classic, which I don't know exactly where that's at, and then we go to Alcoa.
Maybe Heritage?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Volunteer Classic. And this
Yeah.
last one was at Clinton, right?
Yeah.
Post-high school, do you want to maybe get in a college band someplace? What do you want to do after you graduate?
I definitely want to do band in college. I would say that's the biggest reason I'm in band is to get scholarships. But I don't know, because I kind of want to go to University of Florida, and I don't think I want to march in that Florida heat. So
No, I don't blame you.
No. I wouldn't either. I mean, it's hot here, but there's two different kinds of heat involved.
Yeah.
But University of Florida, that's the first person I believe I've ever been told that wants to go to Florida.
Why? Why Florida? Do you know somebody there? Or
I think, honestly, because my dad wanted to go to Florida, and he didn't make it in Florida, so I kind of want to go to Florida, which I don't know if he actually, signed up or, put a scholarship in, or not scholarship, an application in for Florida, but I know that he loved Florida, and so I just kind of want to go there to make him proud.
Was he did he play in a band?
No, he was a football player.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who is your dad? You don't mind us calling him out?
Josh Lau. I don't know if any of you guys would know him.
Okay.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right, Presley, you ready? Presley is playing hurt as well. Abby was here on crutches, but Presley has bronchitis, so wasn't able to make it to school today. But we thank you for making us a priority, Presley,
Call her
for
out,
coming
Tim.
in tonight. Yeah, well, I mean, I just want to say, that's awful thoughtful of you to come in for us to do this. Not able to make it to school yet. You're the scholar athlete, so you'll be able to make that up pretty easy, right?
I hope so.
That's not going to be a big
yeah,
problem.
I don't think one day is going to do too big of a dent.
Okay, so now you play soccer.
Yes.
Yeah, and so what position do you play in soccer?
Well, I'm kind of all over the place still.
Okay, still moving around?
Yes.
Do you have a home that you like best?
Yes, definitely up top, but my home recently has been back on defense, so.
Okay, all right. So you're back there with Ashlyn. Ashlyn was here a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but you called it up top. What's that officially called?
There's forward and there's midfield. I like both of those.
Okay. Is that because it's more of the aggressive trying to score part?
Yes, I just feel like I can generate more up there. I just feel like I look like a chicken without a head back on defense.
Well, I don't believe that, but okay, if that's what you say, Presley. So is part of it, how much of the soccer game is mental? How much thinking do you have to do, and how much of it is instinct?
That just differs for different people, and for me it just depends on the game, because there's some games I feel like I can just show up and everything comes natural, and then there's other times I feel like 99% of the game is just straight me versus me.
Okay. So now, scholar athlete, what do you attribute that to? Are you one of these, because, I used to teach school, so I know there was some kids that didn't crack a book and they're, on a 4.0 for some reason. And then some people study till the lights go out at night and get up and study again before the test. What kind of a scholar athlete are you? Does it come easy or is it hard?
It's a mixture, because there is sometimes I can wing it and I'm just fine, but then there's times I have to sit down and study for days.
Well, and that probably goes by subject, right?
Yes.
What's the subject that you could do it with your eyes closed?
Definitely reading or English.
Okay. So the one that you have to work at is
math or science.
Man, we're very similar, because that's where people sometimes say, I don't like math. Do you like math?
Not really.
Because you don't like. Okay. Well, I understand that, because it doesn't come as easy, right?
Yes.
So what about a math teacher that has helped you overcome this subject that you don't like? Who's been a math teacher that really helped you understand the thing that's hardest to understand?
I've had multiple. So starting my freshman year, Miss Marler always helped me, and it's a big thanks to her. And then my sophomore year, I had Coach Slavin, and he was a good help. And for the rest of the time, I've had Miss Jeffers.
Okay. What about, did you always like school, or was there a time when you didn't like school? And was there a teacher maybe in the elementary school or along the way that made you enjoy school more?
Not really. It's always just been a place I've had to go, so I've just made it. I just went because I had to, so.
Okay. All right. So you don't have to go to college. Are you going to?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. So where are you going to go?
I'm not for sure just yet.
Do you have any that you think are possible options?
I don't really know. I just know what I want to do, but I'm not sure.
What's that?
I want to become an occupational therapist.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And how many years is that going to usually be? Is that something that has an internship and all of these things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at probably, just depends, maybe 5 or so plus years.
Is there a school that's known for having a good occupational therapy program?
Well, I've heard a lot of good things about the UT Health Center in Memphis. I've heard that they have good program there, and so yeah.
Why that particular occupation? What has drawn you to that, do you think?
I definitely want to help disabled children specifically, and I didn't directly want to be just a special education teacher. I wanted to do more of a hands-on opportunity, so I definitely think occupational therapy is my calling.
Well, I mean, I know there's a great demand for that as well. So,
Tim brought it up. I want to ask you, what subjects do you like in school, and who's helped you? Who's been a teacher or 2 or 3 that's been mentors over the course of time?
My favorite subject is definitely U.S. history, and I struggle a lot with math, which is like crazy to say, but my 8th grade math teacher was the best math teacher I've ever had. And I fortunately get to have her again because she moved to the high school this semester. But one of the teachers that I'm most grateful for is definitely Miss Kimbrell. She was a middle school math teacher, and then probably Hoffman. He's been a great teacher to me, which I've had his band class and some of his music classes. So I've had him as a teacher and like a coach. So
I heard he had a really good teacher once.
There's a rumor out there, but
that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what you say.
What I think's neat is you talked about Miss Marler. When she first got into teaching back here, I actually had her in a math class at Rome State when I first started going back to school. So we kind of have a link there.
Oh wow!
She does a great job.
If she taught you, hats off, Miss Marler.
She tried.
Great job. I mean, 'cause we've tried, haven't we, Rick? It's just not taken.
And Pacey, we talked about what you wanted to do, maybe band or whatever. Career-wise, what do you want to do?
I definitely want to work in human services. I still haven't decided what I want to do, but I definitely want to help people, which I don't know with what, but that's definitely what I want to do.
Excellent.
Yeah. I want to thank the STAND program for bringing Presley and Pacey to us tonight. I think it's been great to have these folks interviewed, and I'm just thankful the STAND program has sponsored the Scholar Athlete this year. It's a nice expansion. Tony did it with the linemen, and it's been nice. But it's great to meet you, Presley, and great to meet you, Pacey. Best of luck to both of you all.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out. We're going to take a break here on the roundtable. When we return, we'll have the Scott High School lineman and player of the games coming up right after this. Welcome back to the roundtable. It's now our opportunity to talk to the Scott High School lineman of the game, Hunter Lawson, and our player of the game, Gage Privet. Congratulations, Gage. And from First National Bank, we've got a nice shirt for you. And also a big heavy hoodie that's going to come in real handy this winter. Congratulations, buddy. Rick?
Oh, thanks, Kevin. First of all, I want to start over with Hunter. This is his second appearance as the lineman of the game.
Yep.
Our selection committee really likes your effort and hustle. But talk to me about, you started the year as a center, and you're playing a lot of defense right now. And you find some way to get through the offensive line, and you're about 5'7". That's what I was going to say, and about
160 pounds.
60 pounds. Yeah, I remember those days when I was in high school. But what's what are your attributes defensively? I know you got a real good motor, and I think the coaches are all the time saying we need Hunter to go and go. So you played in the middle, but you played a lot on the defensive ends this season.
I think I'm just quicker. That's about it.
You do other things well too. Has last week's Friday night effort, have you, Gage, has the team sort of gotten over that, put that experience behind us, and trying to take this week off, rest, and I think recover from injuries?
Oh, yeah. Just working on small stuff for now, like tackling.
Another big thing. Yeah, that was a big thing the other night. Gage, the first thing I want to say is, I really ask you, your father is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
What are the rides home like after practice and after a game? Is it something you can talk about on the air?
I mean, it's just a lot of yelling, really. I don't know. It's probably normal for coaches or kids with coaches as dads. I mean, it ain't really nothing crazy. It's just yelling.
Okay. Well, let's not call it yelling. Let's say driving the point across.
Yeah.
How's that? Okay. You were certainly an offensive force the other night, getting the start through something like you completed 13 of 18 passes, I think, for 145 yards maybe.
Something like that.
From early season to last week, it just seemed that your composure was much better.
Yeah.
What have you worked on? What have the coaches worked with you to control that?
I mean, really, it was like a mindset thing. I came in just not really caring too much because those first two games, I was just, like, very tight and too, like, nervous to mess up. So I just, like, calmed down a little bit. That's about it.
Dawson Spradlin had a real good game the other night.
Yeah.
Is he the guy you want to look for, or is that just the way that Coach Hall called the game the other night?
I mean, I looked for him all. He just happened to be wide, so I just threw it to him.
He plays the single receiver as a rule, the single receiver on one side.
Yeah.
I used to call it the X receiver. I don't know what you guys call it there like that. He's also worked very hard this season to improve, I think, his hands, his catching ability, and route running.
Definitely.
How have you watched him grow? Have you talk about the other receivers? How have you watched them grow this season?
I mean, we would go out during the summer and spring, just throw routes for days, and I mean, it's definitely helped with speed and the way their routes go and their catching. You can definitely see a big improvement from last season, for sure.
Hunter, who on the team has helped you the most? A co-player that's helped you the most, that's maybe pushed you a little bit to get your motor going. Who helps you?
I say Mason Akers.
Mason, he's got a good drive motor for most people, doesn't he? How about, we've asked other players there, what about Desmond Bolin? His motor goes like 120% of the time, doesn't it?
Never. It's never settled.
And he would be the probably leader on the defense in terms of getting people lined up and trying to get them motivated to play.
He's just the overall leader. Yeah.
I think one thing I noticed in the game the other night, and I'd have to go look up the stats and just be sure. I'm sorry I didn't have them laying right here, but it's funny. I watched practice and I watched Dez carry the ball and stuff, and he's a hard performer. I don't think he had a single touch in the game the other night.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it was just the plan to get Michael Bond space to run, and it definitely worked a couple times, but sometimes it just didn't go to plan, really. But
what was the best thing it shouldn't be the best thing. What was the toughest thing that Kingston presented to our offense the other night? Was it their own defensive line stopping our run? Was it in the back half of their defense?
Probably their defensive line. They had this D tackle. He was their offensive tackle too, number 54. He was just big and strong. He was just I don't even know. He was just something else. But that was really about it. Their corners and stuff wasn't really nothing like special, just normal stuff.
Hunter, in Friday's game, we were real close. I mean, it seemed like the first half we were always just one touchdown behind until right at the end of the first half. Suddenly we fell down 28-14. What was the conversation like at halftime? Coaches down to players and players trying to get ready for the second half.
Mostly just like wrapping up, tackling, everybody hustling to the ball. That's really about it.
Did Kingston do anything special in terms of running their offense? Reasons that we couldn't tackle, or just it was one of those nights where we tried, and the harder we tried, the less we performed.
Yep, that's what it seemed like. But he was real hard to bring down though.
I had a couple of pretty muscular running backs. I mean, Gage's size, maybe more muscular, but certainly
sure.
Gage's size at going at 6'2" and 240-pound guys. There, what do you guys think about getting the first 5 games out of the way, and now we got a sort of a week to recover, get our bodies healthy again? You think this is? Well, I think it's perfect timing for us. What do you guys think?
Comes in pretty clutch.
Yeah. I think a lot of us are kind of hurt and tired, so this would for sure help get us ready for this next game.
I want to ask about Brett Hall.
Brett Hall,
appeared to be the most serious injury the other night. Any update on him?
To be honest, I'm not too sure what's wrong with him. I think it's either his elbow or the shoulder, but I'm not 1,000% sure. But he's been wearing like a sling, so it's probably something serious.
Yeah, we thought it could have been a shoulder separation. We didn't know that. Anybody else get hurt the other night that might be hard to replace, Hunter?
I think it was like the game before last. I believe it was Hayden.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not sure what his status is going forward. So it may take a while if he can get back on the field, because this is a back problem.
Oh, yeah.
Halfway through the season, had a chance. That would have been an important win the other night, a region win down at Kingston. But we still got 3 region games to go. What do you guys look forward to that? And 2 of those 3 games, I think, will be at home. So what do you guys look forward to in the second half of the season, Hunter?
Just ready to come out and win.
Come out and win?
I know we can do it. We just got to do it.
Yeah. Cage?
I mean, there's a lot of tiny things that we just have to fix, and we'll be fine. So that's really bad.
Such as? Give me one example.
I mean, just small things that's just not wrapping up fully, or not all going to like the ball, or some people miss a block or not block for long enough or nothing. Like, it's a real tiny thing that just takes one little talking to and it's fixed. But that's about it.
Hunter, coaches talk a lot in the last couple of weeks of practice about on the defensive side, we've got to learn to line up where we need to line up at. Are we getting better? Or are we still mentally struggling with that?
Yeah, I mean, I lined up quite a bit wrong last game, but I feel like that's something that we're going to work a lot this week.
Yeah. Oh, well, is it going to – obviously you don't have a game on Friday, so I'm assuming that you're only going to practice probably 4 times this week. And
probably 5 times.
Probably 5 times?
Yeah.
Need the extra worker like that.
Just real quick, Hunter, what year are you?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior this year? Okay. How long have you played football?
Since 5th grade.
5th grade. All right. Where'd you play in 5th grade?
Wartburg.
Wartburg?
Yep.
All right. So tell me this. What positions have you played throughout the years?
Everything except quarterback and corner and safety.
So when did you get put at lineman?
I believe it was my sophomore year.
Your sophomore year?
Yep.
All right. And what was that like? Were you thinking, what?
Well, I could do it because I was a lineman in middle school.
Okay. All right.
I still had some experience, but I just ain't got the size really.
So let me ask you this. 67, did you choose that number or was it given to you?
I quit my sophomore year, so Coach Harris just gave it to me.
Okay. All right. If you could choose a number, what would you choose?
51.
51. Why is that?
That's my old number.
Your old number. All right. Gage, a couple questions. One, I'll just go ahead and start with the number. You're number 8, right?
2.
2,
yeah.
I was there. I
remembered
I was there, and that shows my detail. Why 2?
Well, back when I was at Macquarie, there was this quarterback that was 2, and I just looked up to him for like a long time. So that's just the that's just like the first number I thought of, really.
Okay. The correct answer is Matt Ryan.
Oh, boy.
Okay. No. So, all right. So, Gage, something I was thinking about when you're talking about, and your dad's a coach. My dad was, you'll see where I'm going with this, but at first it's going to be really weird. My dad was a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
I was a teacher, and your dad's a coach. And to me, those three professions, those three vocations are tough on the son.
Yeah.
Because, because everybody, you feel the pressure of your dad's position in those things. And sometimes that makes the relationship a little bit harder. That sometimes you've heard they're harder on you than they are anybody else. But it also makes it very special. And you guys have things you can talk about nobody else understands.
Yeah.
But my question is this: what do you guys do? What's the fun times when you guys are having fun together and not even worrying about winning a football game or whatever? What are the things you all do for fun?
I mean,
anything, or
we don't really do.
Is it all
fun,
business?
Really. We just like chill at home and play sports. Or that's really about it.
Do you share favorite teams?
Yeah, Ravens and Oregon.
Oregon and the Ravens. Okay.
Yeah.
How did the Oregon come about?
To be honest, I'm not really
Did
sure.
you inherit them from Dad?
Yeah, he's just liked them for a long time, so I just did too.
Yeah.
The same with the Ravens. He likes them because of Ray Lewis, but.
Okay. All right. And defense, that makes perfect sense, right? So, well, unfortunately, because I mentioned the Matt Ryan thing, I passed on the Falcons to my son. So your dad did better for you than I did for my kids. Okay.
They're awful.
I can't argue with that. But Gage, I enjoy watching you play, and I just think. And what year are you?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore right now. That's awesome. And I would just encourage Hunter, you enjoy these games, and Gage, enjoy this. It's going to go. Even though you're a sophomore, it goes so fast.
It does.
Enjoy that time, and Dad, y'all go fishing or something. Do something, clear the mind someplace. I'm sure he probably has something that you weren't thinking of, right? Y'all have it's always football.
While we've got the Scott High athletes here, it's probably wise of us to mention that this Saturday is the Heritage Festival. Scott High starts at 11 a.m., goes to 5. All kinds of exhibits, all kinds of foodstuffs. Just come on out to the Heritage Festival Saturday at Scott High.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks to Hunter Lawson, Gage Privet.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all coming by and stopping by. And congratulations on your accomplishments this week.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we return, we'll have the Oneida side of the lineman and player of the game coming up here on the round table. Welcome back to the round table. Now joining us are athletes from Oneida High School, Cam Cash, lineman of the game, and Ben Gilbert, player of the game. Ben, from First National Bank, there's your T-shirt.
Just when you had it folded right there, it looked like a little baby T-shirt.
It's also First National Bank. I worked a little while at your hoodie from First National Bank. I worked a little while at Trophy Masters. They taught me how to fold that stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, just for 6 months. I got fired. Anyhow.
All right. We'll start with Cam. Cam, the first question is, Evan Cotton is here in support of you, but he wasn't here to support his sister. Why do you earn his support?
I guess because I tell him everything he needs to know.
Okay. Hey, you got shook up a little bit late in the game, Coach May said. Everything good?
Yeah, it's fine now. It's just my foot hurt a little bit.
All right, so one of the few healthy linemen that we have left, right? So what's it going to look like this week? Any ideas on the line?
Same thing.
Same thing? Everybody's back. Brady's okay. Everybody's good. All right, so that's good. So what's the challenge going to be? I know Polk County wanted to just grind it out and run. What's it going to look like from Greenback?
They're going to run a lot too.
Okay.
We just need to stop that. We'll be good.
What was so Friday night, and you play both sides. So offensively, we had trouble moving the football in that first half. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. Just we got pinned down in our own side of the field.
Almost like the week before, really.
Yeah, you can't really do much down there.
Okay. So then things really opened up in the fourth quarter. What was the recipe for success on that, do you think?
That's just who we are. That's what we need to be every quarter, is what we was in that fourth quarter.
Okay. All right. Ben, you were player of the week this week, but I know you'd rather had the win. if you could have, but Polk County gives you a lot of opportunity to make stops on the ground. They don't put it in the air much. What was the challenge? What was tough about Polk County for you?
They just did their blocking assignments really well, and just getting off of blocks, and they got downhill really well, I thought.
So now you have returned to punting through the season here this year, and some really good punts. Who has worked with you on that?
I've worked with Colby Morgan, and I've worked with Jimmy Barna a lot, and just trying to pick something else up to do. And so keep on working on that.
Yep. So what do you feel like? Here you're a junior right now. You're halfway through the junior season. What do you feel like is going to be the key for Oneida moving forward in these last 5 games? What has to go differently?
We just got a offensive line. We've got hurt, so we're younger now than we were in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys inexperienced, but I think as we move forward, that'll get better as more experience comes.
Cam, let me ask you. You're a senior, and there's 5 regular season games left. Hopefully there's a postseason to go, but there's some work to do against some pretty good teams. Do you even think about, this is it? This is the last run down through here. Does that cross your mind at all?
After the games it does, but before the games, no, not really.
Yeah. So is there anything that you feel like you want to make sure you accomplish in these next 5? I mean, I know you want to win the games, but, I mean, is there anything else that you're looking at against these teams?
Just win. Just get by with it and win.
Win's the most important thing. Yep. So what about coaching-wise on the offensive line, defensive line? Who's coaching you on those?
Coach Martin on the offensive line.
Okay. What are some things? What's his? I know he's the defensive coordinator as well. What's he like as a coach?
Physical.
Okay.
He just likes being physical, fast. Just got to get up and move.
Okay. Is he? Coach Mark's pretty fiery at times, right? He doesn't show it as much as some other people. We don't see it in the stands, but he gets fired up, right?
He yells a lot.
Does he yell a lot? Yeah. So he has a high standard.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about his playing days? Anything?
He won the state championship. He's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Defensive back, had touchdown catch in that state championship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was a battler, go-to. What about defensively for you, Ben? How does he put you in position to be successful?
He's really big on just doing each individual person's job, and just makes the defense all work together. If we're all working, doing each of our jobs, then we're pretty successful. And he's just really big on just firing off, and with transfers over into the weight room and in the winter, and he's trying to build that up and get more explosive.
Early in the year, this year, you were dealing with shin splints, and you've had some other health things going on. I guess that's really the first time you've dealt very much. How frustrating was that to not be at 100%?
It's rough, and honestly, it's worse through practice, throughout the week, and in the game you got adrenaline and everything, so you're not really focused on that. But throughout the week, it's definitely rough.
So when you go into games right now, are you at 100%? Do you feel like you've been completely yourself at any point this year in a game?
Yeah, and the past 2 weeks I've been feeling better. Obviously, I've got a cast on right now, so it's makes it harder to tackle. But I get this off in 4 weeks, so hopefully in 4 weeks I'm 100%.
Okay. So so that makes it harder to tackle?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other things that it?
Well, I was playing offense at the start, so catching, obviously.
Tight end. You were tight end some?
Yeah, I was playing a little bit of tight end and blocking. You can't grab on. You just can't use your thumb. So that just makes it more difficult on offense.
Won't get called for holding, though.
Yeah, you are.
It depends on who the refs are.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cam, with Coach May out of this loss? Is Coach May any different when you've lost on a Friday night to when you win? And I'm not talking about immediately following the game, but I'm talking about in the following week. Do things get rougher out of a loss, or is it pretty much the same all the time?
No, he's harder on us. If we ain't to our standards, what he expects from us.
Yeah. So are you watching any film on Greenback yet this week?
Yeah, we watched today.
Okay. And so did you watch the Oakdale game?
Mm-hmm.
So they did a lot of good things in the Oakdale game from what I understand. That was their first win. They've changed coaches in the middle of the year. And did you see anything that seemed to be why they're doing better?
No, not really.
Okay. All right. Rick?
I was just wondering about following on Tim's question. There was a rumor the other night when we were at Kingston that changed coach, they might have got a few more players to come back out. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I'm going to ask, could you tell watching film, did it look like they had 11 on the field and 20 more standing on the sidelines? Or?
I think they have only 20 or 30, 20, 23 players, I think is what it was.
Well, they were down to 17. That's the reason that I asked it at one point there. So I think I heard that they had, of course, they know that in Kingston, that they got a few more players back. Are you back at tackle this week?
Guard.
Guard this week. What position have you not played on the line this year?
None.
Well-rounded then. That's what people are looking for. I watch the games, man, and I really do enjoy the, of course, athleticism, but that extra, I don't know what exactly you call it, but that extra drive you have as a defensive player. That's something you've taught yourself? Coach teach you that, or does that come from Scott?
No, definitely not from. Did you say Scott?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I'm not trying to throw him under the bus.
Allison, maybe.
We're very different. Yeah, it probably is. We're very different, but yeah, I don't know. I've always just kind of been played very emotional and just fiery, and it's just stuck with me, I guess.
Does Coach Martin and the defensive coaches, do they try to get you and the other linebackers, Braden, and do they try to help design the defense to get you guys to be more active from the backer position?
Yeah, I mean, they try to just keep us clean sometimes, just, put it to where, in situations where, Brady, for example, you got a bigger guy, they might have to double him, and it might keep us clean. And last year we blitzed a lot more. Recently we've just kind of been playing it out, but yeah, some games they'll try to keep us clean. Yeah.
How much defense are you playing at this time, Cam?
Whole game.
The whole game?
Might be 5-6 snaps I don't play on defense.
Okay, so one time I thought you were getting to play more on defense, but you're still not playing much on that side.
No, he's playing all but 5 or 6.
All
snaps.
but 5 or 6. Yeah. Okay, well, do you have to do anything on your own condition and stuff like that to be prepared to play so many snaps a game?
No, I think I'm in pretty good condition from what football does. Mm-hmm. So I just play it out.
Y'all, either one of you play other sports besides football?
Yeah, I play basketball.
Okay. You're 100%. Okay.
Yeah. You did play basketball though, right?
Yeah, sophomore.
Oh yeah,
that was.
Yeah, I mean every
fan
time.
Favorite.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Favorite.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he would come off the bench.
I noticed Ben was laughing for some reason.
Oh yeah, I mean, the rest of them didn't have a fan in the house, but when Cam came in, the whole student section lit up. It was
there you go,
big time. So let me. And I know we got to wrap up, but just real quick. So Mark Matthews does games with me. You're familiar with Mark, and Mark went the first 2 games, and I don't know if Kevin had sedated him or whatever, but Mark didn't give out any hello darlings, which is his thing, right? He thinks that's his thing.
Go ahead.
And so he didn't give out any hello darlings in those first 2 games or whatever, but he has really picked up the pace here recently, and I don't know. Greg has a little graphic that we put up now when he does that, but you got a couple. He credited you with 2.5 hello darlings. Do you feel like you really earned 2.5 hello darlings, or do you feel like he's just now throwing them out too frequently?
I would have to look back on the plays that it was, so I don't really know, but sometimes I'll hear them all the way down the field. No,
Do you really?
No, I'm just joking. But
so
no.
yeah,
there you go.
Since you got a hello, darling, can you hold that sticker up so Greg can just hold it right there? He'll just keep it steady. He'll find you. But yeah, Mark's got his own stickers now. He gets extra, off of that, so you can see. He's merchandising. John L's trying to look into what he can do. So now let me ask you this. Would you guys be interested in broadcasting games one day, or have we ruined it for you? Cam?
I like it.
You like it? You think you could do
I
it?
probably couldn't do it, no.
Oh,
but
sure
I like
you
it.
could. Trust me, you could.
He's going to get an opportunity here in just a second.
Oh, that's right. We're going to try him out. Ben, would you ever do something like that?
Maybe.
Yeah? What are you going to major in?
I'm going to go into business, but I don't know what, specifically yet.
Okay. All right.
Physical therapy?
No. Definitely not physical therapy.
Okay. All right. So you're going to put Cam to work on the last segment here.
On the last thing we'll do, thank you guys for coming in. Congratulations on this week's Player of the Game, Lineman of the Game. Before we go to break, I'm going to let Cam Cash read our sponsors that are part of the roundtable.
Little's Drugs and Fountain, Twin K Construction, South Fork Physical Therapy, El Rey, Razaks, Lumber King, Danny's Drugs, TNT Car Wash, Tommy's Motorsports, Scenic Foods, Mountain People's Health Councils, and First National Bank.
Good job.
We'll see you in basketball. Well, yeah.
Basketball?
Yeah, you'll help us in basketball.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
All right, congratulations once again, guys. When we come back, we'll have our cheerleaders this week coming up here on the roundtable right after this. And welcome back to the round table. Now the cheerleaders one from Scott and one from Oneida is now joining us. We've got Gracie Gray from Scott High School and Ellie Grooms from Oneida High School. Rick?
Well, first of all, ladies, thanks for joining us. Do you cheer? Have you cheered? Well, first of all, are you a senior?
Yes.
Senior. Have you cheered all 4 years?
Yes.
Did you cheer in middle school?
Yes.
Basketball and football?
Yes.
Do you have a preference? We like asking that.
I like basketball because we can do more stuff.
What do you mean do more stuff? You're inside and you can do more tosses, turns, and
yes, and
backflips.
dances.
Dances, okay. Is that your favorite part of cheerleading, the dance routines that you can do?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to do after graduation? Continue your education? Get into what field?
Yeah, I'll continue my education and I'll become a nurse.
A nurse?
Yes.
Well, that's great. We get that a lot from not only just cheerleaders, but from a lot of our students that are here. And so that's a worthy field. And trust me, you can always find a job no matter where you want to go for that. Yeah. That's it. What do you think about this year's football team? We've struggled a little bit. We're 0-5 so far on the season with 5 games to go and an open date this week. What about the football team? What are you hearing from the other cheerleaders and the other students?
I think we've definitely gotten better this year, if that makes sense. I feel like we've struggled a lot in the past, but we're scoring more touchdowns. We're holding better, so I feel like our team's getting better with good coaches.
What's an analytical mind there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ellie, you all just came off homecoming week. What? I know we asked last week. That's a busy week for a cheerleader, right? What are the extra things you have to do?
You have to do the pep rally on Fridays, and then the parade, and then we do the pep rally at the elementary school for the little kids. Yeah. So Friday is very cram-packed.
And what year are you?
A senior.
You're a senior this year. So, and how many years have you cheered?
7.
7 years. All right. And what's the toughest thing about cheering?
Probably at the beginning of the year, getting with the new girls, trying to become a team, getting used to each other. Mm-hmm. But
do you pay attention to the scoreboard in that and this is probably more for basketball, but if you're in a basketball game and we're down by 30, do you pay attention to that, or you cheer just as hard?
We pay attention to it some, but we still just cheer as hard.
Yeah. Do you have a preference in basketball or football?
Football. Yeah. I love the atmosphere of it.
What is it? What is it about it, do you think?
I don't know. It's just the way the ambiance. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
but
that
like
makes sense.
Just being under the lights and stuff. It's just so fun.
So only 4 home games here in this senior year. So, but luckily you'll have 2 of the last 3 are at home. But do you think? I asked Cam. Do you think about that as a senior, or are you thinking about, oh, this is the, next to last time I'm going to walk through the tunnel, or things like that? Are you sentimental in that way?
Yeah. Especially the home games. I'm like, this is almost it. It's getting closer.
Yeah. So was there someone on the squad, particularly in high school, that welcomed you in and made you feel a part of the cheer team? Sometimes it's nice to have someone that's older that is kind to you. Was there somebody like that when you began cheering?
Annalea Newman, she was so good. And then Marley Strunk, they both were so good to me. They helped me get in because I was shy freshman year, didn't know as many girls. But they were really good about getting me involved in stuff.
So did you have to try out? And so what was that like? How stressful was the trying out, and how did you get ready for the tryout?
Practicing every night after the clinics, because we have clinics the week before the Friday we try out. So just really prepping, working at home. My mom helps me. So just really prepping.
Okay. And then like Rick asked, what are your plans next year? Where are you going to go, and what do you think you're going to go into?
Right now I'm thinking education.
Yeah.
Being a teacher. I'm not really sure where.
Any possible choices?
ETSU, the Cumberlands, UTK.
Okay.
Kind of possibilities.
Those are all good ones. I just want to ask, Grace, where are you going to go to nursing school? Do you know?
I think I'm going to do 2 years here, and then I'm going to probably go off to Tech.
Yeah. All right. The promise.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great thing.
It is.
Yep.
All right. Now it's time to check out y'all's football knowledge, as we're going to do this week's picks. We're going to start off with Oneida at Greenback. I'll get you start first.
Well, I don't want to make anybody mad, so I'll just say Oneida.
Oneida.
Oneida. We don't pick these local games. Okay. So both of y'all
I don't
pick
do a very good job picking any of them. So
yeah. Who's leading the picks now?
I had a perfect 10-0 last week.
That's not what I asked.
I'm 5 games
still
back.
Toby?
Still
Toby by
Toby.
1 game.
And John L's 1 game back.
Okay. All right.
Wartburg at Eagleton.
Eagleton.
Wartburg.
I really tell you, that's a tough game right there. And Eagleton has been like this, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes it a tough game. I'll go with the home team.
Eagleton? He said Eagleton.
Yeah.
I think Wartburg's due, but I'm going to have to go with Eagleton.
I mean, it sounds like the 3 of us looked at it and thought, maybe I could steal one if I went with Wartburg this week, because I had the same thoughts. I really like the way their coach has them playing, and I think he has them believing. But I think if they were at home, boy, it might have tipped the scale over my way. But I'm with Eagleton too. So.
Probably the toughest game to pick this week, Tellico Plains at Bledsoe County. I'll let you start with that one.
I'm going to go Bledsoe.
I will also say Bledsoe.
What do you say, Rick?
I think I picked the home team, and that's the only reason. The home team give them 3-point advantage.
I'm going to go with Bledsoe.
Okay. Yeah, I am too. I don't really, so I could be wrong, and Tellico Plains can be upset with me, but I don't really think that one was tough. I think Bledsoe's going to bounce back.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will. You're right. Yep.
One of the longest running rivalries in the state, Livingston and York. This year is being played at York.
I think York.
Okay.
York.
I'll go with York. Once again, I give them a 7-point home field advantage.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
York.
Yeah, I'm on Livingston. I look. It's kind of sad where they have fallen to.
Yeah.
When I looked at that schedule, I thought, oh my goodness, because the Wildcats finished 4th in your district one year and won the state, right?
Yeah,
well, they finished 5-5. They defeated us near the end of the season. I think that was for the playoff position. So they finished 5-5, made the playoffs, won the next 5 in a row for state championship. That was in 2005, I think.
Yeah. Matt Eldridge was the coach. That's the trivia question you were going to ask me. You were going to ask me if I knew who the coach was. I could tell, and it's Matt Eldridge,
All right, this was probably the easiest one to pick of the week. Union County at Alcoa.
Alcoa.
Alcoa. That one's easy. Absolutely. Now, if you want to go like the over and under on that, then we might talk something. Austin East at Pigeon Forge. Go ahead.
Austin East.
That one's hard. Probably Austin East.
Okay. Austin East, I should have precursored this. Austin East is 0-5. Pigeon Forge is 4-1. Y'all want to try another shot at that?
Austin East is a mean team, but they're like, Pigeon Forge is really good, so it just depends on what they're feeling.
Austin East is going to win a game this year. I don't know when and where. I hope not against us.
It's not going to be that one. I can tell you that.
I think I'll go. You said it's at Pigeon Forge?
Yes.
I think I'll go Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, Pigeon Forge.
I mean, I did think about this one again. Like the Wartburg game, I thought, But then when I looked at Pigeon Forge's schedule and what they had done, they're going to get it.
And the last one we're going to look at is Rockwood at Kingston, a battle in Roane County.
Kingston.
But let me go first because
I'll take mine back.
I think Kevin needs to finish this one and clean up the mess he made last week. I also think it's going to be Kingston. So now.
Yeah, I'll have to go with Kingston on this one.
Any particular reason?
Yeah, I need to keep my job.
Good answer.
So you guys are on bye. UT's on bye. And we didn't even mention the weather factor.
Yes.
So something to watch out for. Right?
Yeah, there's a small possibility that some games may be moved up to Thursday. So just keep track of the media and stuff, and we'll let you know.
We're slated to be here with Birchfield and Huntsville on Thursday night. So that's going to happen. It's going to be on the IHSN. The question is, will I be able to join you, or will
you make that trip to Greenback in the back of a pickup truck or van?
Yeah. Could be either one, so we'll find out. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us once again. Ellie Grooms, Gracie Gray, congratulations on being with us tonight.
You gonna let them give a shout out if there's somebody wants to give a shout out?
I'm sorry. Sorry, that's right.
Yeah, I mean they come all this way and they should be able to say hello to somebody. Just look at that red light and tell whoever you want, Ellie, whoever deserves this shout out.
Shout out to Lauren for coming with me tonight.
Hi, Mom, and hi, Nana.
Good deal. Well, thank you, ladies, once again. And thank you for joining us here on the round table. We'll be back next week. Ben Garrett should be back in this spot, so we'll look forward to seeing him and everyone else on the round table next Monday night.